listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double XI.
Positive Power 21.org Internet Radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide.
That's right, you tell them, little buddy, you're listening to Late Night with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide on the Live Jazz Experience. That's right, you heard me, the Live Jazz Experience with DJ Lady Praise, DJ Jazzman, and DJ Batman from Charm City, baby. And they are in the studios in Chestertown, Maryland. You know all about it. Home of Ona Judd. That's right, the stage play, the musical. That's right, coming to you from Positive Power Double XI. That's right, this is sponsored by Positive Power Double XI Original Film. So look out for the Ona Judd story. It's called The Spirit to Freedom. That's be coming to you real soon. For those of you that tuned in last night on the Inspirational Treasure on the Radio with Shalonda Y. Williams and her guest Obi-Wan, and don't forget about the coach Gene Turner. You guys got to tune into that show. That's an awesome show. Obi did his thing. I love his music. Well, anyway, we had a chance to release DV, that's right, the domestic violence short film that was produced by Double XI, and basically God put that on our heart to let that be our platform, as well as children television is coming, and theater. That's right. We got a brand new company called Royce World Entertainment, and we're going to be bringing you live events. That's right. Live events to not just to the DMV, but to North Carolina, the Chestertown, Eastern Shore communities. So I think we may do some shows in Atlanta, because we do work out of a black box. So you guys may be hearing me talk about pop-up studios. So Batman will be popping up in various parts of the country. But we appreciate all you guys, and we're looking forward to it. We're really excited about some of our new projects, even though we are quarantined right now. And this is when your mind gets creative. If you have one of those kind of minds, that is. If you got a dirty mind, that's something different. But if you had a creative mind, jump on the train. That's right. It's time to get creative. It's time to reinvent yourself. All right, well, let's talk to the crew from Chestertown. My special guest is Shay Samuels. You know her on our Monday night program with Late Night with Jervis Live, and Shay and Paula G. She's on vacation right now, but she will be back. At least I feel it in my heart that she will be back. I know sometimes we need to take a break, but she will be back. But right now, she is the vocalist, songbird. That's what Paula G call her, the voice of an angel. And she's also an executive record label with Beyond the Fence Entertainments. I think they're based in Tennessee. And also she's also TV. And she also hosts a TV show called The Red Room, which is a big hit in Atlanta. That's right. People really feeling that show. Great guest. She really lucked up and got some great guests. I don't know how she did it, but she lucked up. She must have a great producer. That's all I can say. All right, what's up, Lady Praise? How you feeling? How you doing? What's going on? Chestertown, C-Town.
Feeling pretty good, Batman. How you doing today?
Yeah, Batman's good. I know I'm a little unkept. I forgot to zip up my shirt. Can't show all my muscles right now. I've been working on. When I come out of quarantine, go bam. People are like, what the heck? Batman's swollen. That's right. Batman been working out. That's right, man. I'm lifting like I'm in prison.
Oh boy. Okay. All
right. Oh, she think I'm joking, Jazz, man. She think I'm joking. Oh yeah, girl, I've been excited around here when she see the muscles popping out. But anyway, so what's going on with you?
Anyway,
so what's up,
lady? Praise so much where this conversation is going at, but it's going well in Chestertown. We're just holding it down. Just trying to maintain 6 feet distance, and I'm a central employee, so I'm still working and everything. So the radio show is not back on yet because the school systems are not back on. So I tell everybody to maintain your distance and definitely wash your hands and do what you got to do. Cover your face up. If you do have N95 masks, please send those to the healthcare workers, because I'm in healthcare. So please send those to the healthcare workers and try to make your own mask if you possibly can, or if you find somebody that you can make the mask. A lot of people around the country are making masks, so if you could please do that, please do that. But other than that, I'm just holding it down.
Yeah, I feel you. That's right. That's all we could do. And I'm sorry that you have to be out there. So you out in the field? Are you still going in the office? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I still go in the office. I'm not really in the field. I go to an office on the shore here, on the eastern shore here, down in Stevensville. But the nurses that I make sure the patients get home okay once they come from the hospital. So again, I'm calling the doctors and, making sure that they're okay, making sure they got what they need. Yeah. If they got a patient that they're trying to get service for, whether it's for a nurse or a PT, it's like you got to do what you got to do. But it's tough because a lot of them are really dealing with a lot of, census are down, and it's sad because a lot of them will have to go on leave, and it's not good. It's not good for healthcare. It's not good at all. Yeah,
I know it's rough. Yeah, I heard it's rough out there on the front lines. I actually have a neighbor, two neighbors actually that are nurses, and they said it's emotionally and physically draining on the staffs because they constantly got their drilling up. It's like a traffic jam sometimes on the COVID floor. Trying to get the patients in and out. All right. Well, thank you for the update, and we will keep you and your team in prayer. All right. So what's up with you, Jazz Man? What's up with you? What's up with you, buddy?
Jazz Man is doing well. I'm getting a little restless, but I'm going to keep myself occupied, working from home.
Amen.
I've been doing a whole lot of webinars and training courses and lessons. I'm taking Spanish. I probably have a doctorate in library science once it's all said and done.
That's right. Do what you got to do. I'm hearing people doing that. That's a good thing. I'm hearing a lot of people doing certification online programming because, of course, the colleges are up and running online, and people getting certification. I know a young lady that we do we did some radio with. I think she was on the show for a little bit. Shay, I heard she had a couple certifications and add some things to her business because of this time that she has. So that's awesome. Keep up the good work.
I'm actually thinking about doing some stuff myself. I've got some things in the fire that I'll probably tell you about a little bit later. But
Amen.
I'll say about those.
That's right. Hit me up. I know kind of changed the game for us since the FM station been shut down. But we still preparing. Yeah. Once it's up and running, we'd be ready to go. We got some great ideas. A lot of people have been hitting me up, some promoters, and so shout out to those guys. I'm not gonna call anybody by name because I know they're competitors. So I'm just gonna say what's up. Anyway,
I actually can't wait because I've got some great ideas. I can't wait to get back in the studio because I got some great ideas and. Just been really creating my shows, getting ready, because I've got a couple of shows all ready to go. So I'm just ready to go and got some great ideas on some stuff. So I'm like, wow, I can't wait.
That's right. We are excited. We are excited for what God has been on people, the creative side. The juices are flowing with everybody. And after you get through watching so many episodes of Netflix and Amazon Prime, eventually you kind of get a little tired and your mind start wanting a little bit more than that. Sometimes it might even say, "Oh, I can do better than that." Yeah. But better than this, just wasting time away. Whether it's reading or.
Yeah, Batman. I've been working out too.
Watch out, lady. Lady Praise. We're gonna be cut up. All right.
I'm not a big workout person either. But I was lifting today.
Yeah, that's right. I was in the gym. All right. Well, our home gym. I miss my big gym, the real gym. But we got to do what we got to do. So we just been lifting, dumbbells and barbells and all that good stuff. to try to get the time in. All right. Well, we got a great show. This lady has been working with the Batman for a minute. She actually helped me produce a show that came on late night. It came on like 11:30. Oh, no, midnight. It came on midnight. It started at 11:30 with Paula G and then went into a midnight program with the Christian Party Line. And they kept that thing going for a good long time. I got to say we went over a year. I got to look at the numbers, but it was an awesome show. We had a chance to connect with an awesome group of young ladies and special guests. And from that union, we were able to form a phenomenal television staff or team or cast, I'll say a cast, where we work with Paula G in a Black Box Theater, the Good Acting Studio, which is one of her underwriters. And because of them, we've been able to put on some really smooth events. Everything has been working. Of course, I can't bring all my gear with me, especially because Jordan don't travel with me. But we're still able to, produce some really, really good shows. And I just looked at a couple shows, and they look really, really good. I think everybody's going to be really impressed with that team. With all that said, I guess we're ready to bring her on so we can get the show started, right? Right, DJ Lady Praise?
Okay.
I know Batman can't see.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. What's
I'm
up,
excited.
Lady Shay? What's going on? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide, a.k.a. the Batman, and everyone else on the call. How are you?
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm not working out as hard as you are, sir, but I'm working.
But that include cutting grass too, right, Jay?
I haven't learned Spanish in one day, and I ain't got my bachelor's degree in a week yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to catch up with
you. Feel you. All right. So Shay, I'm just, me, I don't host it. I come on at the back end of the show if there's any time allowed. But I know you like a book, and we do miss you on Mondays. So we hoping that you have the strength to come back and join us, even if it's once a month. We'll take something.
You better. You better stop it, Jerry Royce Live. I don't know what you're thinking.
She got so many
Ladies
jobs.
And gentlemen, I'll see y'all back next month on Monday.
All right, we're crossing our fingers. And also, Shay, not only is she's a fantastic phenomenal television host. I remember, just real quick, I know we got 3 more minutes before our Lady Praise take over. But Shay had called me up one day. It was interesting conversations. She called me up on my job. That's right, I called you out, Shay. And Shay said, I want a television show. I was like, what? I was like, she caught me off guard. And she gave me the whole spiel and everything. Jazz Man, he know Batman. He know Batman can get out of some stuff. I was pulling all kinds of stuff out of my sleeve. And I think she accepted it for the time being, but she probably said he ain't going nowhere. I got him. So we ended up, my spirit visited me one day. And I said, you know what, I got an idea. God's been, hitting me with this thing. So she came in town, and we I think we did two settings, I think. But all together, she's got a lot of episodes. I think like 15, 16 episodes. And it worked out really good. People really liked it.
We did 5 on that first day. The first set, we did 5 people.
Yeah, that's right. That wasn't nothing, though. We done 13 episodes with some of these shows. Yeah. Paula G, she get it in 2 days, shoot straight. Keisha, same thing too. Well, I think if you guys ever sit down one day and try to figure out who put in some real television time, how you get your air time when your flight time as a pilot. I wonder who got between Lakeisha and Paula.
That would be PG.
PG?
That would be PG, hands down. That week that she was here, that weekend she was here in Georgia, we all woke up the next day, back hurting, feet hurting.
Yeah, I remember that day.
That is PG for sure. She does at least 13 episodes over the weekend, but just to know how long it goes. That was a weekend. Wardrobe changing.
Yeah, that was a lot. That first time in Atlanta. That was crazy, that one right there, because we shot live performances, and then we went to another location to do the interviews. But now I said, well, let's just shoot everything in one location, only because we couldn't get. We knew we couldn't get. We knew we couldn't get the theater for 2 days. But when she comes here, she does the same thing. She shoot nonstop. Yep. We shooting until midnight sometime. Yep. But we have a good time. Oh yeah. Well, Shay knows that production. It's the same way we do her production, except for Paula has people coming in on a grid. She puts like a grid together. Paula like real organized. Yeah. She be doing her accounting and everything.
I kind of like a super producer, so that's all handled. I just got to show up.
Yeah, that's right. Batman do the work, but you're going to start doing some of the other stuff soon, like booking your own guests. That's right. But anyway, my time is up. And Shay, thank you so much for all you do. You do so much for Positive Power and so much for Beyond the Fence, which she has her own company too. So she puts in, she put in half the time she puts in her Positive Power. Then Beyond the Fence, man, is very lucky company. You got to be blessed. So anyway, thank you so much.
Yes, yeah, we are. Yep. Thank you. I hope you hear that.
That's right. We love you over here. We love you more than Beyond the Fence. I'm only kidding, David.
It's impossible.
I know.
You might be getting a phone call on the back end.
He gonna be calling me. I'm gonna get that call tomorrow. All right, guys. Batman's on mute. Have a good show.
We love you, Batman.
Hey, Shay, how are you? This is DJ Lady Praise. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you.
I mean, you are just. You're very, very welcome. I just was looking at your bio, and my gosh, I'm tired looking at it.
I try to send like a short version, and Jerry's like, "No, we need it all. So you guys got it all."
I mean, it's all of there. So since everybody knows you, I want to dig in a little bit. So tell me about your start. I understand you started out singing with your family quartet group. Tell me about that.
Well, actually, my family, they still do quartet. So if they're listening, shout out to you guys. I love you. But yeah, my family used to travel. You know how quartet groups are. They travel day in and day out. We might not get home until like 3 a.m. sometimes. And my grandmother in the house, they used to do rehearsal in the living room. They used to do rehearsal in the living room. And it turned into like a Saturday fish fry, like right before the Sunday, Sunday.
Oh my word!
Yeah, it was just amazing to actually. My uncles, they still play for Jay Caldwell out of Wilmington, Delaware, and they still travel with them.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up, Shay. Hold up. Wait a minute. Jay Caldwell and the Gospel Ambassadors.
Yes. And they're
girl, you done said something right here to me. Girl, that group right there. Girl, my father was in. He's in Florida now. He retired, but he would make it his business to go see Jay Caldwell and the Gospel Ambassadors. And he would drag my mother everywhere just to make sure he would go see them.
Now you see what I'm saying. That's what I had to do.
And so I actually got to hear them years ago, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is what y'all were talking about. These guys are incredible.
Yes, they are. They are absolutely wonderful. And I mean, and it doesn't seem like they get older, but it doesn't seem the way that they play. You still hear them play, and they just get better and better. So yes, ma'am. So that's that's my upbringing.
Oh my word, girl. You just even. So tell me, who is your favorite, one of your favorites, so who's your favorite quartet? There's the Mighty Clouds of Joy, there's the Nightingales.
I was going to say, like, where do you pick? I'm gonna be biased and say my family, because, and I don't know, what, I would have to find out like what their name was. I got a picture of all of them when they were younger, and my grandfather.
I was just going to ask you that.
What?
I was going to ask you what the name of the quartet group was.
And here's the thing. They're probably gonna text me, but they're probably gonna text me. I'm not sure, but I know. I just got a picture from them when they were younger, and my grandfather was in the middle, my dad and my uncles, and I looked at them. I was like, y'all are some bad looking kids, like in this picture. So I'm gonna say, Uncle Billy, if you listen, and message us and let us know what the name of the group was. But yeah, they were Mighty Clouds of Joy, Jay Caldwell, all of them. And here's the thing, you know, when you get a good group of quartet people singing together under one roof, like you can't. I mean, that's what we were raised on, you know. So you can't. Yeah. I can see why 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning was like the end time.
Girl, sometimes we wouldn't get out from like a nightingale. My father would drag us, all my sisters and my sister and brothers. We would drag us to a Nightingale's concert, and we wouldn't get home till like 12 midnight.
Yes, that's how it was.
So, yeah. So hey, tell me. So looking at I see you got your new fresh LP, your EP out. I Choose to Worship. So, what is you got all these songs, you've written probably all these songs. So what is your creative process in writing those songs? Are you sitting in a room with some tea?
I'm probably doing dishes, walking, sweeping, working.
Really? I didn't expect you to say that.
No, I'm probably doing something around the house, and you know, worship is in my mind, so it's kind of like I'm worshiping in my mind, and so the words just come to me, and it's, you know, I tell everybody the lyrics come to me first, and then with the lyrics I hear the instrumentals in my head. So when people send me tracks or beats to listen to, I'll know which one is mine based off of the song. So it takes a little bit of time for me to find the track. Like I wish I could just listen to a beat and I can listen to a track, but most of the time once I get that track, I'm like, ooh, this song goes with that track. And sometimes I might have separate songs. One might just be like, I'll say, oh, that was a hook. Right? I'll be like, oh, that was the hook to this. And so I'll try it and then put the verses together with a hook that I might have had like a year prior. So it happens when I'm cleaning, cooking, working out. It just happens that way.
So are you walking around with a tape recorder or a recorder or your phone and you're singing into your phone? Or?
No, I actually do that at times, but most of the time it's just I'm repeating what I'm saying over and over and over again. Like I'm like, oh, I like that, and then I'll start singing it again, and then I'll just keep singing it. Sometimes like I'll forget the song, and then it'll come back to me. Like maybe again I'm doing something, or I am sitting there watching TV, and it'll come back to me, and I'm like, okay, it's a keeper.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay. All right. So tell me about the song Seasons, and what was the motivation behind that? And I understand it's coming from Ecclesiastes 3, so.
Yes, yeah. And I was trying not to because everybody knew Ecclesiastes 3, so it was like I wanted to do something different. Yeah. But this is one of those instances where I got a track, and the producer to this track, he was like, listen to this song. Listen to this track. And so he sent the track to me, and the first word I heard was seasons. I mean, it was just kind of like up in the air, seasons. Oh. And so I said, well, let me go through the Bible. I don't want Ecclesiastes 3. Let me just go through the Bible and see what else the Bible says about seasons. And so went around and about, and I kept going past Ecclesiastes 3. Finally, Ecclesiastes 3 it was. So I ended up going, and I just started singing, to everything there is a season, to every purpose there's a plan. And I just started singing it out. It wasn't a lot of work to go to it. It just started, and I was like, okay, I like that. And I played the music back. To everything there is a season, to every purpose there's a plan. And then the track kept going, and I just started thinking, nobody like you, Lord. And that's how it came out. So I just put it all together. Nice. And ultimately what I wanted to do was, we have so many songs out there that kind of talks to our experience or talks to our lives, but none of them that really talk scripture anymore. And so once I realized that Seasons was that song, I just decided that was the song we were going to stick with.
Wow. And it's almost like that song is like the perfect, almost the song, almost like the what's going on now, the fit what's going on now, which is we're going through this season of uncertainty.
Yes. I actually put the video up yesterday because I thought about that. I have other songs, but yesterday I was just thinking like this is the season and of uncertainty, but also a time to break down, a time to build. Jerry said it, you both said it, time to create. know, just to really understand who we are in this period of isolation and come out of it stronger.
Yeah. And it's also a time to be still and know that he is God and that he has it. And we can't do anything about it until he releases it. And releases us from it.
We talk in the song when you said he's God in the song. I thought about my childhood, and I started singing that he's got the whole world in his hands.
Yes, in his hands.
And so I said, let me go ahead and incorporate that because that's a piece of me. So it's in there as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So let me ask you this. So your motivational minutes, and I love this, you do 15 minutes. So the motivational segment. So what was the motivation behind creating that, and why just 15 minutes?
So I will answer it backwards. 15 minutes, I feel like you lose the attention span of people after a certain period of time. That's just what came to me. It started, attention span. People want to hear a good word, but depending on where they are, especially if you're on Facebook looking at something like this, you get messages that pop up, you get inboxes that pop up, you get something else that you want to see, and you get distracted from it. So I figured, why not start the morning off with 15 minutes? The motivation behind it, 2015, I think it was, there were just little nuggets that used to get dropped in my spirit, and I would go online and just start talking about whatever was in my spirit. And so I started doing that, and then at one point I stopped. And when I stopped, people were inboxing me like, hey, I didn't see a message today, or are you still doing them? And I really didn't think that people were paying attention to it. I just was doing it because that's what was on my heart. So once I realized people were doing it, it was something that I knew had to be more consistent. So we started on Mondays because that's the day that everybody has like the most hiccups from waking up. The alarm clock didn't go off, car didn't start, kids are going nuts. And so, and then you got to go to work. If you're somebody that works Monday through Friday, that's the first start of your week. So we figured, it would be best to do it on Mondays where people have to really challenge themselves to change their mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me this. So let me ask you this question. So if you could send a message back to yourself like 10 years, what would you tell yourself?
Did you say 10 me's?
No, 10 years. So
10 years. Okay.
If you could send a a message back to yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell yourself?
Honestly, it would be to just live. I was a young mother. I was 16 and 17 when I had my first. I was 16 when I had my first daughter, 17 when I had my second. And so I had to grow up really fast with them. And everything that I did in life at that time was to establish a foundation for them. And I can't honestly say that I had a chance to live, to just live and experience life in a different way. So it would be to just live.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, all right. So one more quick question. So who's your favorite artist? Now, any genre. Who's your favorite artist?
Jill Scott, India Arie, CC and BB Wine.
Yes.
CC and BB Wine.
My favorite shift.
Yes, I just love it. I love it.
Excellent.
Most people don't know this, and I think there's very, very few people, but Mahalia Jackson, I didn't grow up on her. I found her by accident, but just her timelessness, the timelessness of her music, it blesses me. It's giving me chills now. Jeez.
Yes, but, and she gives it. Yeah, to us vocalists, she does that. She does that to everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely,
so Mahalia Jackson. Yeah. And then my all-time favorite is Phyllis Hyman. I grew up on Phyllis Hyman. So Phyllis Hyman.
Yes, girl, yes. Okay. Well, Shay, I thank you so much for answering my questions. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to take it and turn it over to jazz man, so he can bring us the featured artist, and then he's going to come back on, and then after he finishes the featured artist, and then he's going to come back on and ask you some questions. Okay, so hang tight. All right.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, jazz man, are you there? Take it away.
Yes, good evening, listeners. The featured artist this evening is jazz vocalist Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. The reason why I chose this artist is that she's a millennial artist, and I was listening to music, and this one song I heard, and I had to find out who it was, and it was highly recommended by the trumpeter Wynton Marsalis, the great trumpeter Wynton Marsalis. The name of that song was called Look at Me. And once I heard that song, I had said, let me research. And this vocalist, I mean, she reminds me, as soon as I heard it, she reminded me of Sal Vaughan. And so she's only 30 years old, but it just reminded me of when I was a child and my father, he had the albums of Dinah Washington, Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday. She reminded me of that. And Wynton Marsalis said that she is a one or twice in a generation talent. And it was the first time I heard of her. I really don't follow award shows, so I've never really seen her on a show or anything. But anyway, I'm going to go into her bio. I'm going to give a short artist statement so people can have a general information about her, and then do your own research. And you can go on YouTube. You can look her up, and you can Google her. All right? Her name is Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. Her father is Haitian and her mother is French. Cecile Salvant was born on August 28, 1989, and she is a female jazz vocalist. She began studying voice at the age of 8 with an interest in classical music. She began her transition into jazz while studying at the Darius Milhaud Conservatory School in 2007. She says that her main jazz influence is the great Sarah Vaughan, while she says she's also influenced by Billie Holiday, Bessie Smith, and Betty Carter. She describes her sound as jazz, blues, with elements of folk and musical theater. Cecile Salvant composes music and lyrics, which she also sings in French. So she sings in French and English. I did hear one French song. It was phenomenal, and I know a little French, but it was phenomenal. Her first album was in 2010, and it's called Cecile and the Jean-Francois Bonnel Paris Quintet. She also, in 2010, at the young age of 21, she was the winner of the first prize in the Thelonious Monk International Jazz Competition. In 2013, she released her second album called Woman Child. In 2015, she released For One to Love. And in 2016, she toured with the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra with Wynton Marsalis. This young lady, Cecile McLaurin-Salvant, has won 2 Grammy Awards. She won the 2016 Grammy Award for Best Jazz Vocal Album and the 2017 Grammy Awards for, once again, the Best Jazz Vocal Album. And in 2019, she has been featured in Chanel's commercial called Chant, and she does a rendition of one of her songs, and it's phenomenal. But anyway, I can go on and on about this young lady, but listen to the 30-year-old young sensation, Cecile McLaurin-Salvant. Thank you. How you doing, Sister Shay? Hello?
Hey, Shay, you still there?
I'm wonderful.
Oh, there she go. Amen.
I thought we were going to a song, so I said, let me just go ahead and sit back for a second. And then as soon as I sat back, you got
me. We're going to do one of your songs after I ask a few questions. We're going to do a few of your songs.
Yeah.
But I have several questions for you. And before we go into the music questions, I have to know what motivated or inspired you to want to become a TV host.
Well, as you're being creative, there are certain things that you want to try to do to increase your level of skill set from year to year. And so I had been doing radio for some time. And to be honest with you, maybe 2 years prior to doing radio, I always wanted to do this TV production with artists, although I was an artist. So I wanted to do this TV production with artists, and I talked to a few people, and I guess, like we said, Ecclesiastes 3, everything there's a season, timing wasn't right. And so, like Jerry said, one day, we had just been talking about radio, and we've been talking about music. And, you kind of don't realize the resources you have around you until, like, you realize you have the resources around you. And like Jerry said, I called him and I said, here's what I want to do. I had it all laid out, and I'm like, here's what I want to do. And Jerry at the time had just started picking up new TV personalities, radio personalities. And so he was inundated. But again, timing was everything. So it was really already in the back of my mind, but it was a platform for artists at that point who had a story to tell beyond the regular 1 year, 2 year. These artists that I wanted to interview had a story. They had been through some things. They had been through, the ups, the downs, the ebbs, the flows of everything that they had to go through to make them who they were. And so that was how it started. It started that way, but I ended up on the Red Room, which ended, up being one of the best TV shows or TV shows out there right now, outside of all the Positive Power brand productions. But yes, Red Room is the best.
Yes, I heard 1 or 2 Red Rooms. Excellent. It's an excellent show.
Thank you.
Now, my next question, in terms of being a gospel artist, what makes Shay Samuels so unique than other gospel artists out there?
Well, the inspiration behind the music. So what I realized is, I said it earlier, a lot of artists, they kind of sing to your problems. And what I wanted to do in the music, I wanted to make sure people understood, one, the goodness of God. I didn't want it to be a situation where we always sung about, we could have been dead and gone. I didn't want to sing about the disease. I didn't want to remind people of what they could be overcoming. So that's what I wanted the music to do. And then eventually I started to understand that we needed to talk to our people more. So that's what the music does. It reminds them, one, of who they are, what they've overcome, as opposed to what they're stuck in. As a young mother, I knew that there had to be music out there to speak to the mothers, to let them know, that they can be overcomers. A lot of people will tell you, if you're praying, you go through things and they say, pray, fast, and it'll be changed. Well, I wanted people to know that the Bible says faith without work is dead. So if you're not doing the work, then it's not going to happen. And so I wanted to be real and transparent with the music. And I believe that that's what set me apart.
Oh, excellent. Excellent answer. Excellent. So, Sister Shay, I always wanted to know, why doesn't gospel music get the same commercialization as, say, R&B or pop music, when most artists come from the church?
Well, I can only answer from my perspective. This is not how the world would see it, or, you might ask me when I ask this question, and it may be different. But I think, the community that we're in, we personally don't support one another. And so when people can, if you have a household and that your family's not sticking by you, then why should I? And so when you have a community of people, one, who become very competitive with one another, and this is more in the gospel community, we become more competitive with one another rather than supportive. I believe that everyone feels that they have a song that's for the world, but not a song that unites. And so that's what we're missing on the gospel side. And, that's how you have the Michael Jacksons that come together and do the We Are the World, because they understood what the world needed. And I think that is really what makes the difference. There's a lot of differences, but I think from a gospel standpoint, I think that definitely is one of the things that hinders our music getting out to the world.
Oh, that's a terrific answer. So you feel that it's that lack of unity?
Yeah, definitely. From a secular standpoint, though, they really do support one another. You have your beefs, so to speak, but it's all propaganda. They understand the environment. They understand, this is what we need to do to get people to watch. And so they're not stepping on one another's toes. Financially, they understand how to support one another. And so you get more out of it. So when you see big labels and you see groups of rappers coming together or artists coming together, they're supportive. You think back to Missy Elliott and how she would bring on singers, so you think back to SWV and Escape, all these collaborations, they would come together just to they can do tours together and not be competitive because they understand the financial gain, but they also understand the recognition. So there's a lot that actually keeps us as gospel artists or inspirational artists or anyone in the community of gospel from getting to that point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I didn't look at it like that in terms of, see, you on the inside. That's an excellent answer because I always look at it, was it an industry thing where the executives not embracing gospel, but you have the inside track. So you're saying that actually it's a lot of problems could be solved if the gospel artists were in support of one another. So that gives a different perspective.
Yeah, and then there's more too, because with radio, of course, there's very limited radio stations that play gospel, and there's some stations you'll have more secular stations that will play the gospel because they understand their audience. They understand their audience. So there's more, but that's just one key point to it.
Well, what else is one of your biggest challenges in terms of being in the music industry?
I go back to support. I think they identify with mainstream artists rather than emerging artists. I did a post a few weeks ago, and I was asking people, if you heard a song online, would you know the difference between mainstream and an emerging artist? And unfortunately, I got a lot of teaching lessons as opposed to no, I can't, or yes, I can. And so I think it's just gaining the support necessary to help the music thrive. You have to really kind of, and this is with any business, if you had a small business and you're trying to grow it, we look at the Walmarts as already established, but they had to start somewhere. We look at, the mainstream artists as, they are, they made it, but they had to start somewhere. There's a number of artists that I know for a fact. You guys are from Maryland. I don't know if you've heard of Cowtown in Jersey, but there's artists that used to make their living going there, just to sell or give away CDs, and now they're mainstream and making millions and millions. So my number one challenge is just the support that people should be giving to make the music go where it needs to go.
Okay. Now, Cowtown, that's more of that's like a flea market, right?
It is. It's a flea market, and I miss it.
A big giant flea market.
Yeah, it was kind of like Englishtown. Englishtown was like that too.
Love Cowtown. I guess I love Cowtown.
Was it
Cowtown, Englishtown? My gosh.
I'm speaking y'all's language.
Ooh, girl, I hear you.
In Cowtown.
I'm telling you, girl, you talk my language, baby. Put me forth.
If you go, I'm gonna put an order in.
Now, Shay, you mentioned that some of your favorite artists, like say India Arie, Jill Scott, I heard both of them in concert. Unfortunately, I was never able to see Phyllis Hyman. Do you see yourself venturing also into, say, like, because they consider like neo soul artists? Would you be willing to say venture into that also?
So I think I'm there already. The EP, I Choose to Worship, it was supposed to come out in 2016 and 17 and 18, and I think it landed right where it needed to. Vocally, the EP itself is neo soul. It's more inspirational than it is gospel. Again, just making sure that I'm encouraging people people through the music. Not saying that gospel can't encourage. There's a lot of gospel songs I listen to that encourage me every day. But what we wanted to do with this, and I say we because it's a label thing. It's, we collectively came up with this. But what we wanted to do was make sure that we touched everybody with the music. And so vocally, I think Neo Soul is what the EP is showing.
Oh, okay. All right. And one more question before I turn it over to Batman. What advice would you give to the young people who either are really struggling in the industry or want to try to enter the industry, the music industry, as a gospel artist?
Okay, as a gospel artist, they kind of changed it, because at first I'm going to say beware, but then you stuck in as a gospel artist.
Okay, let's say both.
Well, I think I can talk to both. I would say, as a gospel artist, just know why you're doing what you do. If you come in, there's a lot of people who come from the secular world into the gospel world, and they want to bring, the old secular ways into gospel, and it just doesn't work that way. It's a different platform. And so just understanding your platform, understand your audience, and understand what the need is. There's a lot of people who make music on the gospel side. There's a lot of people who make music and then, it doesn't touch the audience. It's like business, geographically, who are you talking to? And so you got to remember when you're creating music, like, that is important, but also to understand the business side of it. That can segue into the secular side as well. It's easier on the secular side to just make a song. You don't even you can say meat and potatoes, meat and potatoes, meat and potatoes. And people are going to buy it because you just said meat and potato, put the right sound effects on it and have the right beat. You got it. So I would say, even on the other side of the world, in all business, in the music industry, just know the business, understand the business.
Understand the business is good. Yeah, I just saw a movie this past week on the Clark sisters, and I really never listened to their music. I heard about it, but I never listened to their music. But I'm gonna try to listen to their music in terms of because my favorite gospel, well, actually my favorite, I would say favorite male gospel group is the Williams Brothers. But and I also like, when you mentioned your song Seasons, and you said how it came to you. One of my favorite gospel artists, Donald Lawrence, said he said, like, God spoke to him and said the word seasons, and that's how it came to him. I don't know whether you've heard that song, but anyway, now I'm gonna turn it over to DJ Batman. It was great talking with you. You gave great answers.
Thank you.
DJ,
It was a
you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
It was a pleasure going back down memory lane with both of you.
Okay.
Love it.
That's right. I love when when we dive into that area of the music business, because I think a lot of the minds, the leadership in the record companies under the independent labels, they still trying to figure it out. Because I listen to Revolt sometime. Diddy and them host these big conferences, and they trying to figure out how these guys are going to be able to make money based on the way the streaming platforms are operating. It's almost impossible for a smaller artist to make money without merchandising. And I think that's where we at right now. I think when you build your brand now, I think you have to build it around yourself and the music that you're putting out there for your following, But I think when you was talking about the problem that was associated with the gospel industry topping the R&B, I think it had a lot to do with what happened to us in the past. Like, to me, I thought Berry Gordy couldn't do all of that by himself. He made a lot of millionaires, but we needed more than just him. I thought that the hip hop record label did a great job, but it was a lot of them. It wasn't just one. But Berry Gordy, he needed Sam Cooke and Teddy Pendergrass. They were two guys that were going to be running their own record label. And I think if them guys would have been successful, we wouldn't have seen these problems we have now. Like right now, I think we at the grassroots of you guys becoming successful actually with your label and even with what Darkchild is doing and some of the other labels that are trying to push through all this. I think they having problems because they don't have the money, the resources to really give you guys the proper marketing that you need in order for you see a difference in the record sales. That's the whole thing. It's all about that marketing. That marketing is if somebody released the movie independently, whether it was a famous actor, if he doesn't have no backing, nobody will never know about that movie. And sometimes you find that out when you go to Amazon and say, what? What's your kind directed a movie? Because he didn't have the money to put the marketing into it. He had the money barely had the money to do the movie. And that's the same thing with you guys. You're putting so much of your resources into having a quality product, then you really don't have nothing really left over to really do what you need to do in marketing. So how you feel about that, Shay?
Right. I guess I'm kind of like twofold with that, because you are right. You do need to have the money in order for you to market effectively. However, I do feel what they did not have, in the past was social media. And so utilizing social media properly, I feel, is a great marketing tool. And once you understand, this is why they have training classes. You have a training class because you understand that there's more to it than what we use it for. And so it's twofold. So it is the truth. You do have to have the marketing, the finances to do your marketing properly and effectively. Some people, Jerry, marketing is just, I posted today. That's just some people who did marketing. Now that person's not going to be effective. We talk about consistency. You don't see, a commercial of Burger King once a day. You don't see it once a day. Sometimes, if you notice, it comes back to back.
Yeah,
do you think that's an accident? By the time you watch it the second time, you want the burger.
Yeah, you want the
burger.
burger.
I didn't care nothing about an Impossible Burger until I saw the commercial back to back a couple of times.
Yep.
So. So it's true. I do believe that your financials have to be in order for you to have effective marketing, but effective marketing can go beyond the finances as well.
That's right. Now I'm going to step on some toes on this one because I felt like
I'm hanging up.
Yeah, look. And this is just a comparison, just looking at what the hip hop community did with what they did with the streets. They just took what they had. And they used it to their advantage. I mean, those guys got in their chrome rims and went from town to town. They went to clubs. They put a CD in a DJ's hand who was already playing to 1,000 people a week in some cases. Remember you hear a lot about that in those bio where the guy gave the DJ $100 and he played it and they waited for the reaction. And what a lot of those nightclubs do. They put out money and marketing to some of the celebrity hip hoppers to come into their club just to bring the people in. Now you got the people in there. It's up to you what you do with them. I think for us, the gospel and even the Christian hip hop, if now the black churches, those guys, they see a lot of people every week, on TV, and it's a lot of them. Just imagine. A lot of time we go to church, we hear music that was dated back in the 1800s. Those people not alive no more. So I'm like, we need support. We need, that's what I know, right? I just feel like
to your point, I think too, from and like you said, a lot of the people they okay, there are artists, and I won't say a name, but there are artists out there right now who made it because of becoming an internet sensation. You know what I mean? They didn't have to. No label sought them out. You have shows out there like Sunday's Best. You have shows out there like The Voice. You have there's so many different platforms for people to make a statement within that. And so there are people who don't have the financial backing. They just had the talent and they had the resources and they knew how to work the resources. But I'll, give a shout out to David too, because, give a shout out to David too, because, you talk about paving the ground with those CDs. When he first came out with his album Background, he was actually paving the ground. Like, he wasn't using any streaming electronics or anything like that to push his music. He sold 10,000 copies of that CD or that album, just pushing. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, but that's what they used to do.
The team he had at that time, it was like going at each other's throats, because it was like he just had them paving the ground, and that's the way, like I said, go back to Cowtown. Yeah, that's what they were doing.
That's right. Was that without? Did they call Cowtown? Hey Shay, did they call that English Town too? Because Englishtown, New Jersey, there was a big flea market there too. Was that the same thing? I thought it was.
Englishtown was awesome. Englishtown was so awesome. I love Englishtown. My gosh.
So that was separate from Cowtown?
I thought Cowtown was Englishtown, but it's not. I think that's separate.
Yeah, Cowtown. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Englishtown was huge too, that flea market. And you're right. That's when those guys be selling mixtapes. Yeah. Mixtapes was being moved. And, I just give credit to the hip hop industry. They just took what was available to them. But then you look at some of those documentaries where, like, you was looking at some of the groups that was going through some of these, labels. They were picked up by Jewish managers a lot of times. Those managers was pushing those guys into nightclubs. They knew the business real well. And a lot of times you guys are doing a lot of this stuff yourself. Like, I know you have a strong marketing background, but you have some people who don't. And they just know how to do music. They don't know nothing else. They all over the place.
Yeah, that's when you connect with good. You just connect with good people, and like a lot of people in our community. It's funny because it's like, well, God gave me the vision. He's going to give me the provision. Well, I'm going to say faith without work is dead. You're going to have to, they're so afraid of people stealing the vision, or, part of the ministry, walking out your purpose, is just align yourself with people, because it takes a village to raise your purpose, to help with your purpose. So if you feel, and by the time you do it, Jerry, it goes back to how you and I met, we crossed paths for a while, but to everything there's a season. And then when we did and we connected, it was what you needed when you needed it, and what I needed when I needed it. And so when you just kind of walk it out just thinking, well, this is what God called me to do, so I'm going to do it, and then you fail at it, you feel that God failed you. But honestly, there are people that's going to link up with you. They already know the desires of your heart. They already know the desires of and what your purpose needs.
That's right.
But if you are an artist and you are trying to walk out this purpose by yourself, you're trying to walk out this thing by yourself, I can go so many different places with it. But it's like, selfish gain will get you nowhere. Just for the sake of being famous is not going to, and I'm going to make a funny, but the Clark sisters are famous, and somebody on this call ain't hear their music yet.
I know, that's crazy. How do you not know the Clark sisters?
You probably just didn't know what he was listening to.
I'm not saying never heard a song, but I never had any of their music.
Yeah, you probably didn't recognize it was them.
I got all that music.
I recognize the song too.
I got everything.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff.
It's a good thing, though. What I'm saying is, it's inevitable that somebody is going to miss your music. So as a singer, as an artist, there are so many people out there aspiring to be them, and here we have someone on the call who's like, I'm going to start listening to their music. But why did you start listening to it? Because the movie came out. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So we have to support something different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
I'll teach you later.
Yeah. But it's so many. But one of the things that's going to be happening with some of the podcasters out there, they're going to be entertaining shows that's going to be talking about the business, the nature of the business, and how you guys can make a difference. And I always tell people, go out to YouTube and check out some of those music conferences that's going on, because the hip hop industry and of course the rock and roll industry, I don't even really think they're existing that much right now, except for the old bands that are doing a lot of touring. And that seems like that's basically their full-time musicians. I think that's where some people are. They got to make that choice. If, you're going to just lay on the fence, that's the results you're going to get, because we just had Steve Ray Latson on the show last week on the Power Lift, and he's a full-time musician, and he actually plays for the Blind Boys of Alabama. And he said they was on a big tour in Australia. It's going to take world tours to do what you're doing. You know, it's a real gig, and I don't know. I just think just like actors, you know, it's like you got to just pack it up and just go for it. You know, they just pack it up and just go to California. They go to New York. You know, we got a family friend now who just finished school and say, I want to be an actor. Even one of my homeboys, his daughter wanted to be an actor after college, and they packed up everything, moved to Las Vegas. Now she has opportunities to go to auditions and everything. And I just think that's the mindset too, Shay. It's just a lot of the artists are on the fence. You know, they're not all the way in. You know,
they're not all the way in, which is why you see them 1 minute and then the next they're gone. And so you know, it's important for you, one, to study to show yourself approved. But, you know, most of the people, and you will probably agree with me, but most of the people who are doing what they're doing now, and that includes myself, never thought that they would be doing this.
Right.
Like, it's not something that you thought when I was 8 years old. Well, some people, yeah, but majority of the people, especially on the gospel side, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I would have much rather been out there singing Shaka Khan and In Vogue, because that's what I enjoyed doing when I was doing my old school R&B. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you asked the question before, like, you know, well, did you ever see yourself doing this? Like, I had more of a doing that type of music. People came out on Saturday nights, biker clubs and stuff like that. Getting dressed up to have these events, the big band that's behind you, and you get paid more money, of course, doing it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you get, and when you see a stage, a room full of audience, what is it called? Like a concert center, you know, like you're doing this at a concert center. So I had a lot of fun doing it. So when you know that that's the life that can be lived, a lot of people would choose to live that life rather than what we're living. So a lot of people aren't called to do what we're doing.
But, you know, too, you got to look at it, too, like that. You know, it's like what you guys are doing kind of remind you it's a form of entertainment in a way, because, you know, I know a lot of full-time musicians that play for churches, and those guys make really good money. Some of them make six figures that are musicians. I don't know exactly what the lead singers, you know, the worship leaders in the Yeah, right. I know. So I'm saying, what do the worship leaders get? You know, or let's say the band director. Now, you do find sometimes the band director is the lead singer sometimes, and they just handle all of the, you know, the rehearsals and choose the music. And they're not musicians, but they do pretty well.
Now, you know, the bass player for the band that I was with, when I was with the band on that side, $500 for the bass player.
Yeah, they do well.
Wow. Yeah. That's why people pay that much money to come in.
Yeah.
$500. He wasn't playing for less than that. That was just the bass player. He was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that ain't nobody come on. It was like, do.
I need to take up bass playing then.
But the drummers too, yeah. A lot of the musicians.
I can sing.
Yeah, a lot of musicians do well.
It goes back to what you were saying too about the gospel versus the people singing in the world. Because now when you do it, a bass player in the gospel world, they wouldn't get paid nothing, because then people would be like, you should be doing it for the Lord.
Mm-hmm. But they want to make sure they show up, so you gotta get paid. You want your musicians there on Sunday. So you got to pay him. You can't play with that.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the bass player at? Well, anyway, Shay, we really appreciate you dropping all those nuggets and teaching us about the industry. Just so much to it, you know, and everybody have their, you know, their conspiracy theory, I guess you could say, why the gospel industry is not as successful. But there's so many musicians and so many vocalists. There's so many of them. Not everybody going to be successful, you know. And
yes, I agree.
And you do have some that are very successful out there, just as many as you have R&B artists. So, you know, we just got to look at that we're just grateful that we're able to do what we do. All right.
I am very, very grateful. Well, Lady Praise and Jasmine, I appreciate both of you. It was an honor to be on tonight, and I really enjoyed myself.
All right.
You're welcome. It's an honor to talk to you.
Yes.
I cannot wait to meet you so we can go to Cowtown and listen to some Jay Cornwell and some gospel ambassadors. Yes, girl.
All right. Well, hopefully when Shay gets back, when Shay comes here and spend a weekend here doing a show, maybe we can take a late Sunday. One day it's going to happen. You know, we'd be able to drive her down to Chestertown to the radio station to hang out with Lady Praise at the station. Yeah. All right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you
right.
guys so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.
So we're gonna play some I'm Good, and also Shay belong. You know, she's a record label for Beyond the Fence, and they've been putting out some singles in the last couple of weeks. David just released. That's our partner, her partner in crime. They just released Wish. I think Wish is legitimately out right now. It's actually part of the music track on the movie we just released called DV, Domestic Violence. And, of course, you know, that debuted last week on the Earth Channel. And then we also premiered it. Thank you. And we premiered it also on Shalonda Williams' show last night on Facebook Live and YouTube. So anyway, so they got a couple EPs. They got two. I think they both have EPs is dropping. Well, Shay has dropped hers, and I think David's is in the process of getting it all out. So we just want to keep those two in prayer as they do what they do as record executive, because that's not an easy job when you're dealing with artists, and if you're an artist yourself, you know, you're wearing two hats. So we keep them in prayer. All right. So any final words, DJ, Lady Praise? Shay is gone, but you have anything you want to leave the audience during these times?
Hey, I'm just everybody to just stay, it's faith over fear. It is faith over fear. So be still and know that God is in control and he has it. Stay inside, wash your hands, do what you need to do, learn a new skill, learn a new craft, read, meditate, walk, exercise, eat right, and just do what you need to do. And we will come through this. God will get us through this.
That's right.
On the other side.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Lady Praise. And DJ Jazz, man, any final words for tonight's broadcast?
I just tell everybody, stay safe, take care, and try to stay occupied as much as possible, whether it's, reading, playing games, spending time with family, listening to new music, whatever you can do just to stay occupied to better yourself, because you can always turn a negative situation into a positive.
That's right. Amen. That's right. All right, y'all. So we're going to go out playing a couple of Shay's music. I also have Seasoned and Beautiful that's in the list. So we're going to listen to the latest one that's out, which is I'm Good, which she's been rocking lately on social media. So those of you that have streaming platforms on Spotify and iHeart, go ahead and add that song to your playlist. I'm Good. Just type in Shay Samuels and all her music will come up in your search engine on your Spotify or iHeart account. All right, so that's basically how they supposed to make their money right now. And also you can go to Amazon if you're not into streaming technology, you want to own the music. You know, you can still do that. You can go to Amazon, just type in Shay Samuels, and also you can check out her music videos on YouTube. All right, and also her TV show airs on the Earth Channel in DeKalb County 25 on Comcast in Atlanta, Georgia, Channel 25 every Thursday at 10:30. I believe her show comes on at 10:30 a.m. So that'd be tomorrow. So check my Facebook page, Jervis Live. If you're listening to us on Spreaker and you're overseas, just go ahead and go out to Jerry Ross Live on Facebook, and you'll see the link to her show, The Red Room. And I think it's also about 16 episodes on YouTube. So let's go to our Music Vision channel. Just type in Jervis Live, and you can check out all her shows. All right. So that's it, everybody. We will get through this. We will get through this. Feel the power. All right. All right, everybody. So we'll be back tomorrow night, Thursday, starting at 10 o'clock. No, my bad. I forgot we got a new show. We got a brand new show starting 9 o'clock. It'll be that third episode, Power Lift. Power Lift with Pastor Red Henry and his beautiful First Lady, Crystal Henry. They have a powerful show. And tomorrow, they're actually going to have a really, really good artist on the show. Well, actually, there's two of them. They're from Bermuda called Last Call. I believe the name is Trisell and Adrian. Two awesome guys. I met them at the Spin Awards, and these guys can perform too. They're one of the leaders in worship on the island. So everybody knows them, and they've been under Darkchild Entertainment, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Darkchild. That's the label that Beyonce had. Destiny Child had their first big hit. It was called Pay Bills. Say your name. And I think the song something about pay your bills. Well, they were their multi-million-dollar hits. So and they doing well out there. Matter of fact, Last Call has been on the billboards for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they got a number of artists. So you get a chance to meet all those artists right here on Positive Power XXI Christian Media. So we start out at 9:00 with Powerlifting, and at 10:00 on the late night with Jarvis Live and Kelly Holland. She's going to introduce a new artist. I believe her name is Yoki. She has a new song out called Yahweh that we've been playing on our Earth Channel show. She just released that new video. Also, Last Call just released a new video also that premiered this week. So it's a lot of stuff going on with Darkchild. So if you want to find out what's going on with them, check us out right here. We're going to be current on a number of their artists. All right, y'all. We got to get out of here. So I'm Batman of Charm City on the live Jazz.
All right, lady friends, take care.
All right. Peace out.
All right, you too, Jazz Man, Batman. See you later. Bless.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
It's your boy, David Green. Hey, yo, Shay. It's time to go beyond the fence. Life is so good. It's so good. Yeah. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drives the bones, you know. Yeah.
It's about 8 in the morning, I'm just waking up. Got the Folgers on brew, about to fill my cup. While I'm looking out the window, let the sun come up. I'm good. I'm about to get my day started. Off to work, about to make them dollars. If only you knew what I've been through, you would smile and say that I'm good. Had a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. And my family's good, my health is good. I thank God that I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. I got food on the table, I know that He's able. Thank God I'm good. I thank God I'm good. I thank God I'm good.
Life is so good.
I thank God I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You are magnificent, great. Your feeling is hate, when we're ignorant grace. So intimate place, your heart of innocence make a life different break. The soul sin and the sinning, could the enemy hate? You are the sun, stars, and the moon. You are the beam of light when it's dark in the room. When I depart from the womb, you're the air that I breathe. Always there when I need you, preparing for peace. You're so good.
I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. And my family's good, my health is good. I thank God that I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. I got food on the table, I know that He's able. Thank God I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. And my family's good, my health is good. I thank God that I'm so good, so good, so good. Lord, You've been so good to me. Yes, You have. I'm telling you, Lord, You've been so good to me. So beautiful. Good. to me.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
To everything there is a season. To every purpose there's a plan. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. You created all the seasons. You have the whole world in your hands. When you created me, it was your perfect plan. Nobody like you, Lord. No, there's nobody like you, Lord. There is nobody like you. Nobody like you. Nobody like you, Lord. To everything there is a season. To every purpose there's a plan. A time to search and a time to quit. A time to tear away and a time to mend. A time to embrace and a time to turn away. A time for love and a time for hate. A time for war and a time for peace. You created all the seasons. You have the whole world in your hands. When you created me, it was your perfect plan. Nobody like you, Lord. No, there's nobody like you, Lord. There is nobody like you. Nobody like you. Nobody like you, Lord. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole 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 wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Nobody like you, Lord. No, there's nobody like you, Lord. There is nobody like you. Nobody like you. Nobody like you, Lord. There's nobody like you. Nobody like you.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Has anyone ever told you that you were a queen? Have they told you how valuable you really are? He gave you the moon, the stars, the sun. He gave you everything. He gave you the pearls, the fur, the diamond necklace, and the rings. He told you that you were his queen and that you two would never part. How many other women has he said that to? And then he broke your heart. Girl, I can't let you just stay in this place. But that was so long ago. Can I tell you you're blessed? You have to remind yourself. Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror. You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 Girl, you are so beautiful. 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 You have to remind yourself. Come on, say it with me. I'm more than a conqueror. You're more than a conqueror. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Sis, can I tell you that you are vibrant, talented, you're blessed. You're so much more. Let the light shine. You were. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so beautiful, 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 beautiful. Girl, you are so
Hello. Welcome to Fellowship Friday. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. What a good day. It is Passover, Good Friday. This is a very special time for me as a believer, knowing what Jesus did for us. And this is the day that we're going to fellowship today with my boss, Jerry Royce. We're going to have a fabulous time in the Lord as well. So before we begin with this wonderful fellowshipy time with Jerry Royce, Jerry, we're going to first go to the Father in prayer, and then I will provide you the scripture for this Friday. So let's go to the Father in prayer. Father God, thank you once again for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you, Father God, for making ways out of no way, Father God. Continue on giving us the strength that we need to endure this pandemic. Father God, touch those families who are going through that. Touch those who are not. Please, Father, pass over, my family, my friends, and my enemies. Let them know that you will heal the land. Let them know that you are still here, but we just need to reach out to you, Father God. Thank you so much for giving us the book of life. Thank you so much for giving us Jesus, who died on the cross and rose on the third day, and we have life and renewedness and love and joy. It's because of Jesus. And Father God, I just thank you for purpose living. It's a blessing to wake up and knowing that no matter what is going on in front of me, behind me, on the left side, on the right side, all is well, because you are the core. You are the anchor of my soul. So, Father God, guide me more daily and intercept more of your ways, your precepts. And I make this prayer in your Son Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Let's first go to Matthew chapter 26, verses 26 and 28. And this is talking about the Passover. And this is a special time for us as believers, knowing that we know that this is may not be the actual day, but we are celebrating the death and the resurrection of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Okay? Those little religious people, he didn't die, but he did. He may not be exactly around this time, but I love celebrating it because it just gives me a reason to feel so appreciative on what he did for us. Okay? Matthew 26, verses 26 through 28, and it reads, "And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to the disciples and said, 'Take, eat. This is my body.' And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, 'Drink ye all of it. For this is my blood and of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.'" So, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. We are covered by the blood of Jesus. Hallelujah. And without further ado, we got my brother, my boss, the reason I'm in radio and loving radio on the internet. Jerry Royce, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Kimmy Kim? How you doing? Praise God.
Jerry.
Praise
Jerry.
God for victory.
Yeah, I love doing that. How you doing?
Awesome. How you doing? I give God praise. Victory.
I'm doing good. It's just been an amazing time, and I just want to thank you once again for pushing me out here. You know, I'm the shy one. Kim, you spending all that money at that radio station, you can start your own network with me. And I've been with Jerry Royce ever since then. And I just thank you, and this is for you.
Amen.
And
praise Him.
We're going to have a good time on today. This is all about you, boss, not about me. And I want the listeners to know, who is Jerry Royce?
Jerry Royce. I'm gonna take. I think it's a 5-letter word, I believe, from one of my good friends. And I'm gonna just say I'm a server. I'm just say I like to serve. I'm a server, man of God, father, husband, brother, son, man of God, and when it comes to business, entrepreneur. Love it. So that's who I am.
Yes. And you are a sweetheart. And he is a giver. He gives out to others. And guess what? He doesn't ask for a dime because he knows who his resources, who is the main resource in his life. And I thank you so much for, just pushing me out here. And also, what's going on in the Jerry Royce land? I see you doing radio, TV, TV shows, and before you know, you're going to have I know you're still working on your school. What's going on with Jerry Royce? Positive21live.com. Positivepower21.com. What's going on there?
All right. First off, thank you so much for having me on the show and sharing me with your audience and everything. And give praise to God, for this day. It's victory every time you wake up. What we doing, man, we got a lot of projects every time. I'm a firm believer. When you write things down and you pray over it, God will make it happen as long as you stay focused. And, if you ask them, that's just like your child. Your child's going to ask you for something, and they're going to keep asking you for it till you give it to them. And eventually you're going to give it to them if you think they're worthy of it. So I feel like if you're worthy of it,
absolutely.
And it's not about possessions. I always tell people this: when you're successful, that's when you see the gifts come, whether it's money or whatever you want, whatever your heart desire. For some people, they want to see money because they want to be able to take care of their families and be able to help reinforce what they've already been doing, add a little bit more. Because face it, this is a very expensive world we're in right now. And that's the reason why a lot of people have been breaking down mentally, because they just couldn't stand the stress of the world. Whether it was on their jobs, just trying to survive in their community. I mean, just face it, no matter where you're positioned in this world, whether you're in a street gang or you're in an executive corporate gang, it's going to be stress, because you got to constantly keep proving yourself to those members, So, that's why it's so important to surround yourself with great people, with phenomenal people. With the same mindset.
Yeah.
But some of the things that we were working on, and this is because we actually, when I went to school for corporate communications, one of the things that they taught us was that you have to have a platform. You have to have a mission statement, and you have to have a vision. So once you have that vision, because that's going to be given to you by God, and that means you have to start writing things down. Once you write it out, it's like a journey on paper. It'll take you right where you're trying to go. You'll see whether it's going to work or it's not going to work. And some people don't do that, and that's the reason why sometimes they wonder why they drop that and move on to something else, is because they don't really know what the end of the road, what the map looks like. You got to know what you have to do in order to get where you want to go. So, what was so important to me was, of course, building a platform that I can share, with my family. And that was my dad's most important thing. So basically, I'm just taking his idea to the next level. And his idea was he wanted to have a family business. And it was what we were already doing. We was in publishing. We was in medical and math publishing. And we did some magazines for a Fortune 100 company. And it was owned by a family right here in the Baltimore area, but he also had another plant on the Eastern Shore, and that's where my dad was. So to make the story real short, we started out in publishing with that company, and then we ended up moving because his brothers and his sisters worked there, and my brother. And so what happened was we decided to go into business. We started a newspaper, which led into publishing, which led into podcasting. Because what was happening was the book authors was asking me, Jerry, I got 1,000 books. What am I do with it? Because back then you couldn't do what you're doing now with Amazon. You had to go to a printer, and his minimum press run was 1,000 books. So a lot of people don't have 1,000 friends, especially because we were only online via the email. So basically, that's how we got into podcasting. And so then, of course, I was doing a lot of podcasting. I really loved it, and then the technology took a turn for the better in around 2013, and basically that's when Positive Power was born. 21.org. That was born. And then, of course, you start meeting people because social media started developing and growing and expanding. And I started meeting people like you and Keith Ron Powell, who had a radio station, and Linton Smith had a radio station, and Miss Benita. And so I think it was the five of us put our heads together, and then the live, apps came out, and of course, a lot of them got better and better. Your iHearts and your Spotify start to grow. So we grew with it. And then what happens from there, you're meeting people, and I went to school for electronics, technology, and graphic design. So I did like web development, and then what that led to was video productions, which I wanted to learn about studio. So we was actually working. The campus actually had a cable television station, so we got hands-on experience working in the studio, editing and everything. So then when I went to work on my 4-year degree, I got more into editing and a little bit about online publishing and management, business management. So it led to where we are today. So television started getting interesting to me because my oldest son actually had an internship working for some of your big hip hop labels as well as ESPN, and he was doing some other work. Reginald Lewis Museum. So he was learning how to do setup and events, as well as editing and shooting and field, because he was doing field work with ESPN, with the NFL. So he knew how to go out and, so he passed a lot of that down to me, even though I seen it early on, but the equipment got lighter and better and of course less expensive. So that's why I am today. Kimmy Kim is incorporating television with radio. And with that, we kind of have our own in-house promotion company as well. So because we do a lot of short videos,